La 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 la. Hey YouTubes, it's me, Zipster. Yeah, I'm wearing my I Love Mike Ski Hand t-shirt tonight. Okay, what the hell precipitated this video? Yeah, okay. Last night or 2 nights ago, maybe 3 nights ago, I don't remember. The days all seem to run together anymore. But I'm going through the TV Guide channel. Man, there's a channel for everything now, isn't there? God, there's too many channels. There's channels that tell you what channels do. Blah. Anyway, so I'm going through it and I see, I'm looking and looking and looking, and like 2 o'clock in the morning, there it is. Again. Da-da-da-da. The bane of my existence. This movie called Young Nurses in Love. Okay, let me tell you the story. Back in around 1980, I guess it was, I signed a publishing deal with Famous Music. I think they're still in business. Who knows? Doesn't matter. I signed a publishing deal, and they gave me a check for $10,000. Okay, and what the deal basically meant is they would get royalties off of all my songs, blah 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 blah. Anyway, then I was a big old flop anyway, so they lost the $10,000. I don't know what they made back on that, but that's beside the point. So I'm like sitting pretty. I'm like $10,000. Back then, that was like $20,000. I swear. I mean, I don't know the inflationary rate, but whatever. I felt really rich. You know, it was like 10,000 extra bucks in my pocket. So I decided I am gonna lay around like a bum. Okay. So I wrote a bunch of songs and recorded a bunch of songs and blah blah blah. And so one day I get a phone call from my manager, and he's like, Mr. Blah 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 wants to use a couple of your songs in a movie. I'm like, oh my God, that is like the most sensational thing ever. But then you got to remember, back in the 80s, movie soundtracks weren't real big like they are now. Like now, you get on a movie soundtrack, you could be set for life. One song, boom, you're home free. Okay, so I'm like, yeah, what's the deal? He's like, well, we're gonna go down and meet with him. I'm like, okay, great. So we're driving through New York, and we're like leaving New York, and I'm like, well, where the hell are we going? He's like, oh, he lives down in Brooklyn. Oh, Brooklyn. So we get down there, and we get to this big old like warehouse, right? I mean, it wasn't even like a pretty one. It was like an old rundown warehouse. And we go inside. Let's take a brief moment to see what Young Nurses in Love look like. Like a kitchen, and it was all very generic, and I'm like, what the hell kind of movies does this guy make? And then my manager's like, oh well, he's like the king of like C movies. They're like, it's the softcore porn, like nothing ever really happens, but they show a little bit of cleavage or whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. So we get in the office, and we're sitting down with this guy, and he was like a sleazeball looking guy too. He looked like he would make the kind of movies he does. So okay, we're sitting in there, and he's like, okay, well, I'd like to use Bachelor and I Don't Want a Job for my new movie, Young Nurses in Love. I'm like, yeah, okay, how does this work, And he's like, well, basically what I do is I'll give you a flat-out fee of $1,000 per song, and then, then I'm done with you, So I'm like, okay, great, that's $2,000. Ooh, I could use that too, because I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to run out of that money I got 2 years ago, that $10,000. So I'm like, oh, yeah, that sounds good. So then I'm like, well, gee, don't you want income unicato? I'm trying to sell another song because I'm such a businessman. Not. Anyway, he wound up buying 3 songs for this movie. Okay, great. Now I have $3,000 in my pocket, and I'm thinking, yeah, like, looking around this set, this movie ain't going anywhere anyway. It turns out that damn movie has been playing, I swear to God, 20 times a year on the USA Network, Young Nurses in Love. Okay, and my songs are in there. This is the killer. Whenever one of my songs starts, it like starts up and there's the intro, and then I start singing a little bit, and boom, they cut the commercial. And like when the commercial's over, I'm just finishing up the song. So, you can't even tell what the hell's going on. But now I'm getting a little pissed off. I'm saying to myself, man, I wonder how much money he made licensing this damn movie to frickin' USA Network over and over and over again. And I walked away with $3,000 from that thing. Meanwhile, I bet Famous Music, who gave me that $10,000 in 1980, they're probably making more money off of this stuff than I am, because they still get royalties from the movie. They didn't sell out like I did. I guess the point of this is, you know what? No matter how desperate you are, maybe you better think twice before you sell out. Meanwhile, watch your local listing for Young Nurses in Love. Yeah, I'm in there. Oh yeah, I'm in there. Okay, thank you.